Okay, so we are going to continue looking at some editing tools. So read along with me. Often in word processing, there are many tools available that allow you to edit text and the appearance of your document quickly and easy. You're going to explore many of the tools that allow you to edit your documents like a pro. All right, first thing. All right, selecting text. Now, one thing to keep in mind before we even start is you may see a few errors as we work. Keep in mind that those are intentional. So definitely don't want to work ahead on this document because there are some things in place that are done a certain way on purpose. If you notice that something looks different or you want to make a change or anything like that, just continue with the video. Don't worry, we will cover any little thing that you see that may not look right. Okay, so selecting text is our first section. There are many ways to select text. Okay, so the first thing that we can look at is choosing one word. Okay. So the first thing you can do is double click on the word. So if I double click, we highlight the word. Option 2, click and hold the mouse at the beginning of the word and drag to whatever that is, end. Okay, we have a mess there, but we're going to deal with it later. So number 2, I can click and drag. Okay, so click and drag is pretty common. Double clicking is faster. And there's less chance of over dragging or under dragging. Okay, our next option for selecting text is selecting a paragraph. So our first option, triple click on any word in the paragraph. So if I triple click, it selects the whole paragraph. If I go up to the top here, triple click, it selects the whole paragraph. Pretty cool. Or you can drag my mouse. So I can click and drag. So multiple clicks or clicking and dragging are all ways to select text. All right, next up, cut, copy, and paste. Read along with me here. The cut feature allows you to remove selected text from the document and temporarily place it on the clipboard. If you want to move a word or words to a different part of your document, you can also drag and drop. Select the text, then click and hold on the selected text and drag it to the new position. Okay, so usually with cutting, most of the time when you cut something, it's because you need it somewhere else. Something's in the wrong place, you want to rearrange. If you want to cut to just get rid of something, you can use backspace or delete just as well. So most of the time people use cut because they want to actually move something. So we're going to practice a little bit here. I want you to select the word cut, and we're actually going to cut it. Okay, couple different ways that you can cut. First way that a lot of people try is right click. You'll right click and you'll see cut on your list. Now, when you try to cut, if an error message pops up or a box pops up that talks about installing something to be able to do the right click, go ahead and install that. That gives you the right click ability. Okay. If you don't want to install anything, you'll look to the right and you'll see a shortcut. Now I'm on a Mac, so mine looks a little different than a PC. But on a PC, it's Control X. Okay, so Control X is cut. And again, if you don't know the shortcut, it shows you on the list. Now, another way to cut is we select our word, go to Edit, and you'll see Cut on the Edit list. So there are 3 different ways that you can cut. So go ahead and cut this word. Now, let's say that you wanted to move it, because what I talk about in the second half of this says if you want to move words, you can also drag and drop. Okay, so let's select the word move. Okay, so let's say I wanted that at the end. I could cut, and I could come to the end, and I could paste. That's one option. Or I can move it with my mouse. Just like when you had clip art or a picture and you clicked and drug it around to move it, you can do the same thing with words. And you've probably done it on accident before. So if I click and hold on the word move, if you look closely, you can see a little blue cursor, and wherever I let go where that cursor is where the word move will go. Ready? When I let go, the word move moved. I could select a whole paragraph, and I could move an entire paragraph if I wanted to. I don't want to, so I'm going to go ahead and undo that. Okay. But I do want you to move the word move to the end. All right, next up is the copy feature. The copy feature allows you to copy selected text from the document and temporarily place it on the clipboard. So when you cut something, it goes to the clipboard. When you copy, it also goes to the clipboard. Now, the clipboard doesn't hold multiple cuts and copies. It'll hold the last thing you did. So the last thing you copy is what it has. Some programs have features where you can have multiple things on a clipboard, but for the most part, it's the last thing that you did. Okay, so if I wanted to copy the word copy, I could right click and choose copy. I could use my shortcut, or we can go to edit. Depending on the program you use, sometimes you have commands in the toolbar for these as well. And finally, for paste, paste takes the last piece of text you cut or copied and places it where you choose. If you have text selected, the pasted text will replace the selected text. If you have the cursor placed in the text, the new text will be placed where the cursor is. Okay, here's what this means. See how I have this table or this paragraph selected? I copied the word copy, right? If I have this paragraph selected and I go edit, paste, let me undo and redo. So edit, paste. Because I had that whole paragraph selected, it's going to replace what I pasted. That could have been possible when you inserted clip art on the other assignment. If you had text selected, when you inserted clip art, it would replace the text. So you have to be very careful when you're inserting things and when you're copying and pasting and that type. So what I want to do is if I want to place the word copy, I need to tell the computer where to put it. The computer cannot read our mind. If I look at this and I know where I want it to go, I have to physically tell the computer where to go. So if you see my cursor right here is blinking, I put a space, and then if I paste, the word move is placed there. Or copy or whatever the last thing I cut or copied was. So at the end of this paragraph, just paste and we'll see whatever the last thing you saved was or that you copied or cut will go to the end. Just remember that if you have text selected and you try to paste something or insert something, it's going to get replaced. All right. There are multiple ways to cut, copy, and paste text. Create a table below this sentence to show the different methods. All right, so what we're going to do, you're going to learn how to insert a table. So I want you to click underneath so your cursor looks like mine. And we're going to go up to insert. These toolbars are pretty helpful in that the words do match what options you have. Under insert, that's if I want to put something extra into my document. So look for table. So I want you to make your table 3 rows high and 4 wide. So it should be 4 by 3. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill this in with cut, copy, and paste commands. Okay. So I want you to type the word cut, a capital C. And we're going to go up and you're going to select the word copy. And we're going to copy it. And we're going to paste it. Now what's interesting is because the word copy has a bullet point, when I paste it, we're going to get a bullet point. So I want to make sure that your cursor is in the copy area. And if you look up on our toolbar right here, bullet is highlighted, it's gray. So I'm going to click it to take the bullet off. Then we're going to go up to the word paste. I want you to select it, copy it, but we're going to paste this differently. I want you to right click here and I want you to see paste without formatting. So what this is going to do is this is going to just paste plain text. So maybe the whole bullet thing annoys you or the formatting you don't like. It when you paste it looks weird from the internet or wherever you copied. So if you choose paste without formatting, it's going to paste in just normal. So get cut, copy, and paste in your table with the exact process that we just did. All right, now don't change any formatting. You notice copy is bold. Leave it that way. Okay, yours should look just like mine. So to cut, the keyboard shortcut is Control C. Right? So we have our keyboard shortcut. I also can right click and cut, right? I can right click. If I select a word, I can right click and cut. And our other option is edit. If something's selected, I can go to the edit menu and choose cut. Now for copy, control what? Well, if you forget, you can always right click. And for copy, I see control C. Uh-oh, we have a little bit of a problem. Cut is not control C, is it? Cut is control X. I always like to think X is like scissors and you cut with scissors. I don't know what made me think it was C a minute ago. It's too late at night, I guess. So X reminds me of scissors, so cut. Copy is control C, or we can right click and choose copy, or we can go edit, copy. Finally, for paste is control, there's paste, control V. And there's no rhyme or reason for V other than it's right by X and C. I can right click paste, or I can edit paste. So these are my methods for cut, copy, and paste. Now, a couple of other things you can do in your tables. The table acts just like text. You can center, okay. If you put your mouse on the edges of your table, I can click and drag to change the sizes. So feel free to take a minute and make your table look interesting, or change so there isn't a lot of extra white space. It's up to you. Okay, if you want to mess around with your table a little bit, you can do that. Okay, next up, Format Painter. Read along with me. Let's say you have a section of text that's formatted exactly the way you want. You want to make other word or words in the document match the formatting. You can do that quickly with the Format Painter tool. Okay, here's what I mean. Let's take a look at this column right here. Do you see how copy is bold, but cut and paste is not? Now, if I had done more formatting to this, I had a font and a different size, a different color. If you've done 3 or 4 different formatting commands on a word, it might be hard to figure out what you did to it. But I can say, well, I want this word cut to look just like copy does. Okay, so what we can do is you're going to select the word copy. This is the style we want. If you look at your toolbar, there's a little painter, a little paint roller called Paint Format. Click Paint Format. It'll highlight gray. Then I'm going to go to the word cut. I'm going to drag on top of cut and let go. It took the formatting and it copied it and pasted it. So we're going to make the word paste look like cut and copy. So highlight the word copy because that's our source format. Click the painter, go to paste and select paste, let go, and it formats. Pretty neat, huh? And you can do that with anything. If I had red and a different font, a different size. Okay, so let's say I just went to town on cut. Now, if you're trying to make the copy and the paste the same, you would have to go through and look at all the different formats, which isn't hard, but then you're having to highlight, select copy and go through and change 5 different things. But if I select the word cut and I go to my painter, I highlight copy and boom, it copies the format. Hit the painter again, go to paste, boom, copies the format. Really, really neat. So again, take a minute with the Format Painter and go through and format, cut, copy, and paste. If you want to get fancy like I did, you can. All right, find and replace. Let me get from the bottom here. There will be times when you need to search for a word in your document. Okay, for example, you use the word very too much and you want to see how many times you wrote it. So your teacher says, you always use very. You need to cut down how many times you use very, or you need to cut down how many times you say like, or whatever. There's a tool to help you monitor that. Okay. Other times you may want to replace words or characters in your document with others quickly. So let's say that you're writing a report on a city and you realize that you keep forgetting to capitalize the first letter. You can use this find and replace to fix any of those errors. Or maybe you tend to forget to capitalize the letter I when it's by itself. You could search for that. Um, Another example I give here is sometimes maybe you push the space bar twice in a row on accident between sentences. You can search for that. Okay. So what we want to do is we're going to go through and practice the find and replace. You're going to go to Edit, and in the Edit menu, you can actually see Find and Replace. I'm going to click it. So let's pretend that I want to look for the word the. My teacher says I use the too much. So if I type in the word the, if you look around, everywhere that the letters THE are next to each other are green. See all the green? Pretty cool, huh? And it even tells me 46. 46 times I have the word the. So if your teacher tells you use very too much, you could type in the word very and see how many times you say very. Okay. Now, one thing to notice, I want you to come over here to other and there. Do you see how THE are inside the words, but technically it's not the? What we can do is, if you look back over here on our box, if I click match case, it should remove that situation. Now, some of these it doesn't. I'll have to see exactly why that happens. But match case usually means that you want to find that exact word. Okay, let's go back down. So we're going to go edit, find and replace again. And we're going to look for the space issue. So I'm going to say sometimes I do 2 spaces in a row instead of just one. So I'm going to push my space bar twice. And it tells me I did this 5 times. So 5 times I did 2 spaces. If you look, as I scroll, wherever you see the little green area, that's where I forgot and I did 2 spaces. You can scroll through or you can hit the next button. If you hit next, it'll take you through each instance. Okay. Now, what I can do is I can quickly fix this. Instead of going to each one individually, I can tell Google Docs, I can say, okay, find space space and replace it with 1 space. And so I'm going to click the space bar once. And I can go through and replace them one at a time, or I can click replace all. Now I hit replace all and then it did a bunch of stuff and you may not know if it fixed anything. So if you type space space, it should find anytime you did space bar twice and it shows me I have 0. So it got fixed. Okay, maybe you forget to capitalize the letter I when it's by itself. Now if I type I, you'll see a bunch of I's are chosen. So what I want to do is, usually it's a period and then a space, and then the letter I and then a space, right? So we could say space, I, space. And that would tell me if I forgot to capitalize any I's that are by themselves. I don't have any that are in error, so I'm fine. You know, if you forget to capitalize certain letters or your first name or whatever, you can do a find and replace with that as well. So you're going to practice finding the extra spaces, practice finding the words the, so you'll play around with the find and replace. Finally, spell check. Oh, that should say spell check. All right. Always make sure to check your document for spelling and grammar errors. You'll find the errors in red or blue, or you can go to the tool menu. Okay, so let's search through here. I have some errors underlined in red. Okay, so one option is if you know what letter it is, what word it is, you can just fix it. Or you can right click on top. So if I right click on top of the word that's underlined, it gives me options. I can add it to my dictionary if it's my name or something. I can ignore it. It gives me a suggestion, the. None of that is helpful. So I'm just going to take a look at the sentence and see if I can figure out what I meant, because this is going to happen to you. You're going to look and have no idea what you were trying to do. It says click and hold the mouse at the beginning of the word and drag to the end. So I just want this to say the end. To look at my next one, I could right click and see what it suggests. Select the text. That would sound right, except I don't want a capital T. I want a lowercase. Now for our last one, we're actually going to use the toolbar. And we're under tools. So if I go to tools, I can do spelling, but there's also so much other great stuff up here. I can count how many words. So if you're told you need to write 100 letters or 100 words, you can check that. There's a dictionary. I can translate. I can do voice typing. So if you have a device with a microphone, you can speak into it and it'll type for you. We're going to click spelling. And if I look at spelling, there's actually a couple options. I can run a spell check. If this is check marked, then it'll tell me that I have errors, and I can open up my personal dictionary. But let's run spell check. When I run spell check, it gives me the same type of tools as if I did a right click. So if we look up top here, change feature, if I click change, I have a little drop down. If I keep typing the same word wrong over and over, if I click the little drop down, it'll actually allow me to fix it everywhere. We're just going to hit change, and it fixes my issue. I do have my text going to 2 pages, but that's okay this time. Just make sure you run your spell check and you're done.